Hey Fanshawe, my name is Connor Morand and I'm your host for today. Welcome to FAQ Fanshawe Answers Questions. This is our second of a series of videos that are coming to you to help you answer some of the most frequently asked questions about the upcoming fall semester. Now, for all of our returning students, we can't wait to welcome you back this fall. And for our new students, if you have any questions or if you're still maybe unsure about whether or not you should come to Fanshawe this fall, we would love to have you talk to one of our amazing recruitment officers. You can send them an email and you can book a one-on-one consultation by emailing myfuture@fanshawec.ca. To help kick us off this episode, I would like to turn it over to our very own Michelle Baudouin, who is the Vice President of Student Services here at Fanshawe College. Michelle, thank you so much for being on and welcome.
Thanks, Connor. So hello and welcome to the second session of Fanshawe Answers Questions. We know that you have a lot of questions and probably have been pondering a lot over the summer, and we're hoping to respond in this video series to questions that we're pulling from you and also that we know you're likely thinking about. We're here for you, whether you are wondering about how you're going to pay for your studies in the fall, whether you are not sure about where you're going to be living from a residence perspective or housing perspective, and what you're interested in terms of how Fanshawe will support you online. We know you're going to have questions about that as well. So back in March, we started to move all of the services off-site and remote. So we've learned a few things from doing that. We've learned how to deliver more effectively online and in remote modes. Our experience of working off-site has taught us that what it feels like to be trying to work from home, being separated from family and friends. We get a sense of what that feels like, and probably more importantly, how it is to keep motivated and focused when you're working from home. So we're going to do all that we can to engage and support you this fall. It's important that you have a signature Fanshawe service experience this fall. So we're going to do everything we can to support you in terms of making transactions easier, quicker to complete. Also, we want to offer our full attention with you and through Zoom appointments, WebEx appointments, and email, phone. And we also want to be able to respond to all of your questions with speed and accuracy, because we know all of the things will be important to you when you come in the fall. So to support this experience, we worked in partnership with the Fanshawe Student Union, and we're going to be providing an on-site service hub to support students in person. We hope to be able to answer your more pressing questions and also refer you to departments that will have storefront operations. Some of our departments are going to have storefront openings, and so we will be able to refer you to those, or also to remote services and contacts. While we're still working out some of the details on locations, and as we determine those, we'll certainly get those communicated out to students. So stay tuned on that, and we'll let you know where we're going to be in the fall. In some ways, we think we've improved our services by being off-site. We've put more forms online and more transactions online, and we know that's made it convenient for you and saves you a lot of time. We don't intend to stop that. Anything that we've moved off-site that makes life easier for you, we're going to continue doing. Bookstore services will continue online ordering and have pickup service. Library will have pickup service. Some of these things are going to continue because we know they are convenient for you and support you. We've also learned that most quick conversations and a lot of appointments can happen through email, Zoom, WebEx, and so we're going to continue that because, again, we know that some of that makes it more convenient for you and saves you time. So whether you're on-site or off-site, we still believe those will support your needs. So when you come here in the fall, we hope you will experience, we know that you will be experiencing online and remote services, but we hope that you will experience a more personal touch from our Fanshawe service hubs and be able to speak with people in person and connect that way. So we look forward to seeing with you and connecting with you, and we miss you, and we like to see you in the hallways, and we pick up a lot of energy from you. So we're looking forward to seeing you all in the fall. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll turn it back to Connor.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Michelle, for your words on student services and student supports. As I mentioned before, this is our second of our Fanshawe Answers Questions video series. If you haven't seen our first one yet, you can go to our Fanshawe College YouTube page and check it out there. And we'll be putting out another third video next week. If you have any questions in the meantime, please send us an email to communications@fanshawec.ca, and we'd love to be able to answer those questions as they come in. Now, my next guest who will be coming up is Mr. Kevin Nash, who is the Associate Registrar for Fanshawe College. He'll be answering some questions on fees and financial aid. Stay tuned. All right, and welcome back to Fanshawe Answers Questions. With me now is the Associate Registrar for Fanshawe, Kevin Nash. Kevin, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Thanks, Connor. Happy to be here.
Okay, so to kick things off, Kevin, can you maybe just tell us a little bit about your role here at Fanshawe and what some of your areas of responsibility are here at the college?
Sure. I work within the Office of the Registrar in 3 teams, fees, financial aid, and student awards. And those teams, they help students with everything to do with student financials, fee setup for students, helping with OSAP applications, processing applications for bursaries, scholarships, and awards, and really helping educate students on student finance and budgeting for college.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. So you're quite involved with a lot of areas, obviously, here at Fanshawe College. What is maybe the best thing that you love about, Fanshawe College? That's a pretty open-ended question, I understand, but.
It is, and it's a tough one to narrow down, but I would say for me it's the people. It really is. Privilege of working with the student service team, and it's a large group of staff that work here at the college, and all very dedicated, and it never ceases to amaze me the lengths that staff go to help students and find solutions and be very creative at making sure our students get the answers they need and are successful in their studies at Fanshawe.
Definitely, yeah. It's it's for sure the people that make up any sort of higher education institution, right?
Absolutely.
So speaking of our students, I'd like to actually start by asking you some of the questions straight from them. Okay, so our first question is really all about tuition costs. When will students find out exactly how much tuition is, and will it be cheaper if they're in an online program?
Sure. Invoicing started last week, so by this point, most students will have received an invoice from Fanshawe, so they'll have the cost of their studies for fall. Tuition costs have stayed the same. It's important for Fanshawe to ensure that the intellectual requirements and all of the program outcomes happen for our students, and we provide the same quality of programming. We're working hard to ensure that those experiences students need will help them in their chosen job or career. For students that are studying fully online, they won't be charged the services that would have been offered at the campus that are no longer being offered for the fall, including the LTC FSU bus pass.
Okay. Now, in terms of payment options, Kevin, do students have the option to pay on more of like a semester by semester basis?
Absolutely. We're set up that way already, so we invoice students by term, and they pay by term, and the deposits and the payment fee deadlines are all posted on our website. So the invoicing that's happening now would be for the first term for the year for fall.
Okay, so Kevin, there are a lot of students who obviously have a ton of questions about fees and tuition. How does Fanshawe necessarily decide which fees that students can opt out of, and what fees are absolutely required for students to pay?
Ancillary fee charges are based on the delivery format of the program, and fees are also reviewed annually. Any proposed changes are reviewed with FSU before they're brought to the Board of Governors for approval, and all of that is based on ministry policy and directives that we abide by and our fee protocols that we have within the college. There is no opt-out of fees, with the exception of the domestic health plan, where students can opt out if they have proof of alternative coverage, and they do that directly through FSU and apply for the refund through their website.
Okay. So speaking of fee refunds, another question that we have here from students, will students now be getting a refund since they're now working from home and not maybe using some of these, higher sort of facilities, one example being the bus pass or the wellness center?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
And a popular one, I'm sure. We have developed 2 ancillary fee packages based on the program delivery commitments. So the first one being for students that are fully online or at a regional campus, they will not be paying for any of the London campus services, including the LTC bus pass. For students that are in a hybrid or blended programming format, they will pay, and if they're at the London campus, they will pay for London services that are available to them, including the LTC FSU bus pass.
Okay.
We have suspended the recreation fee and the student wellness center fees for fall.
Okay. Speaking of paying for college, Kevin, obviously it's a stressful time for both students and parents parents, maybe more so now for families who have experienced unemployment or other kinds of financial hardships. What is Fanshawe doing right now to help, mitigate some of those costs financially for students?
Sure. Our first advice for domestic students is apply for OSAP. It's the best first step for students to start planning their financial readiness for college. The federal government's already announced that they're improving funding, increasing grants and loans for students starting in the fall, and they're also reducing the expected financial contribution of students and their families. Fanshawe also has a number of bursaries, awards, and scholarships available to students. They're all outlined on our website under the Paying for College section of the website. Some good examples are the entrance bursary for students that are brand new, coming to Fanshawe for the first time full-time in the fall. And it's open now. We've extended that application deadline until July 24th to give students an opportunity to apply for that. Another good example is the student assistance bursary that opens every term after the 10th day of classes. And again, that's a good opportunity for students to achieve some financial assistance for their studies.
Right. Okay. So going off of some of those, bigger award opportunities, do you know when students will find out whether they will receive their OSAP or other financial assistance?
Yes, for OSAP, the application's open, so students should apply now and apply early. That's always a good choice. OSAP is open, and students that have applied and filled out that application will receive an email once their funding assessment is available this summer. For Fanshawe College-specific opportunities, like some of the ones I mentioned, we'll start working through those, and students that have applied, they will get an email response once we've reviewed their application. And we'll start with that student entrance bursary. Over the next couple of months, we'll be working through those and letting students know.
Okay, great. I want to talk a little bit, Kevin, about required course materials. So we've had a couple students asking, what if I don't have a laptop and I need to complete my entire program online because of the pandemic? Will Fanshawe help with some of these expenses?
They will. Bursaries, scholarships, and awards generally don't target specific items like a laptop. However, those bursaries, awards, scholarships, they're intended to help students cover their costs of going to school, including computer costs. So that's the best opportunities for students. Apply for those bursaries. If they show financial need, they can access some of those funds. As well, for OSAP, they do factor in $500 in computer costs into the OSAP assessment for students in their first year of studies.
Okay, that's great. What if students change their mind and they decide not to attend Fanshawe after they've already paid their initial deposit, Kevin?
If your plans change, we ask students that they fill out the withdrawal form online prior to the 10th day of class. That's very important to do. We've extended the tuition and payment fee deadline, and we've done that to allow students extra time to make an informed decision about coming to Fanshawe. We hope students choose Fanshawe and come and study here in the fall. And we want to make sure they have the time to make that informed decision.
Yeah, that's great. And my very last question to you, Kevin, if students still have questions, who can they reach out to in terms of fees and financial aid?
Absolutely. They can call and talk to us at 519-452-4280, or they can email us at fad@fanshawec.ca, and staff will be ready to help them. Right now, our hours are Monday to Friday, 10 till 6.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much, Kevin, for your time today answering questions about fees and financial aid and all things money related and paying for college. Now, my next guest who will be coming up is Darlene O'Neill, who is the Director of Employment and Student Entrepreneurial Services here at Fanshawe College. She's going to be answering some questions about the residence experience and other student services and supports. Stay tuned. All right, and welcome back, everybody, to Fanshawe Answers Questions. With me now is Darlene O'Neill, who is the Director of Employment and Student Entrepreneurial Services. Darlene, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Connor. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. My first question to you, can you just tell us a little bit about your role here at Fanshawe? What is it that you do?
Yeah, so at Fanshawe, I'm responsible for Employment and Student Entrepreneurial Services, which is made up of 4 units. Career Services, we look after graduate and part-time employment, Inspire Mentorship Program, and many, many events. As well, I look after approximately 60 co-op programs, so cooperative education. We are responsible for Leap Junction, which is the entrepreneurial arm of employment for students here at the college. And finally, we have a an employment office in the City of London for the public to access for free employment counseling.
Okay, so basically everything under the sun when it comes to entrepreneurial services here at Fanshawe.
Anything jobs is us.
That's great. So in that realm, what is it that you love best about Fanshawe?
That's a really tough question because I love everything about Fanshawe. So a few of the things that really shine for me for Fanshawe is the dedication and commitment of the professors to support students as well as the staff, the diversity of the students here at Fanshawe, the innovation and creativity at Fanshawe, as well as the breadth and scope of opportunities that we provide for students. And I think my favorite part of Fanshawe is watching students as they succeed and launch into their careers.
Mm-hmm. So doing everything that you can to make sure that students thrive in this environment. No matter what that looks like. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yes.
So now I'd like to ask you some questions, Darlene, about student services, and we've got a couple questions here specifically from students. Our first one is students asking if their course is completely online, but they still want to come in the fall semester. What is Fanshawe doing to support those students who will be studying online?
Yeah, so we've all learned a lot of lessons around COVID, and we're all working from home. So one of the things that we are ensuring through student services is that we're accessible and we're there for the students. So students can access counselors, advisors, any supports they need. They can participate in Fanshawe Student Union activities, workshops, job events, anything online. So we have mobilized ourselves and we're ready and available to support students in the virtual format.
Beautiful. So that includes, having the support of teachers online or by, say, video calls?
Yeah, so teachers care deeply about their students as well. And my advice to students is to connect with their teachers and watch their FOL pages to make sure that the office hours are posted for the teachers, because they will have office hours. They'll have virtual meetings. They'll have all types of remote activities and accessibility for their students.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's a great answer. Okay, so my next question, Darlene, is about students being on campus. And a big question that we've been getting from students is, whether students need to be living in residence or if they can get away with staying at home and then, having to just commute to campus back and forth. When will students find out their class schedule so they're able to make that choice for themselves?
Right. So students will find out their class schedule in mid-August. The preference will be for students to only be on campus when they have blended classes. So between mid-August and the time school starts in September, late September, they'll have a month to make that decision around where am I going to live.
Okay. So speaking on that as well, when will students actually find out if they get into residence, and is the due date for the deposit still going to be on June 19th?
Great question. So residents will be sending out their letters very soon. So within the next couple of weeks, students should know. No, the deadline has been extended for residents until July 22nd.
Okay, that's great. Will there be a longer period of time to pay the residence fees, and will they be prorated if students aren't living there all the time?
Yes, payment deadlines have been extended, and that will be in the letter that students receive when they get their confirmation of their residence. And unfortunately, they won't be prorated. So.
Okay, so another question that we have about residence, will it be offered to students who will be in a blended format program of both face-to-face and online, or will it also be offered to students who are in a completely online program?
So residence is available for all students, but we are prioritizing for those students who are in blended programs because they will have to come on campus. But if there are rooms left over, then the others will have an opportunity to have a residence room as well.
Awesome. That's really, really great news.
Yeah.
I want to look past a little bit from this upcoming fall semester Can students get into residence in their winter term if they decide to return to a face-to-face class, or if they decide not to live in residence their first year, can they apply in their second year?
Yeah, that's a great question. So residence is traditionally an 8-month agreement, and it's going to remain at that. However, we always have some spaces that become available, and again, we will be prioritizing for students in blended programs, and the applications for residents that have extra spaces will be available in October. So students can watch out in October and hope, if they want to live in residence, that there's some extra spots for them.
That's right. Okay, beautiful. I'd like to switch over to course materials. When will students be finding out what textbooks they need and how can they get them?
Right. So the last Monday in July, which is July 27th, is the day that students will have their book lists online, and they can go to fanshaweretail.ca and look up their list. And the bookstore will be opening, so students will be able to come and pick up their books.
Okay, that's great. Another question that we've been getting a lot from students is on learning disabilities. Students that have these learning disabilities, they are unsure about whether or not they should be taking their courses online or not. Can you speak on what services and supports would be available to them from Fanshawe?
Sure. So we've had students with disabilities learning online for the past term, and they're very quite successful. So there's lots of services available for them, everything from peer tutoring to note takers to adaptive equipment. Counselors are available to help them. They can have longer time for tests, longer time for assignments, reduced course loads. So all they need to do is check in with their accessibility counselor, and they can help make all those arrangements for them. Personal counseling is also available virtually and in groups in the fall.
Okay, wonderful. My very last question to you, Darlene, and as you know, and as you're extremely proud of, Fanshawe has one of the best graduate employment rates in the entire province, which is such a wonderful thing to claim. Students are now interested to learn whether they will be able to participate in a work placement, in a co-op job, or other work opportunities. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Well, first of all, I think I'd like to say that in spite of COVID, of 1,700 co-op students this year, over 1,050 were successful in attaining their co-op credit. Incredible. So we're very pleased and proud of that. But employers, we're really proud of the employment rates at Fanshawe, very, very proud. And employers often speak to the quality of the Fanshawe students and graduates. Everything from their technical skills to their communication skills, teamwork, all those other skills that are so important. Authentic workplace learning is a valuable learning component of academic programs here at Fanshawe. But because of COVID, some placements may have to be rearranged or delayed, and my advice would be, if you're in a program that has a placement, contact your placement coordinator or your program coordinator. And if you're in cooperative education, we've created many options, creative options, for students to be successful in getting that co-op credit. So please contact the co-op department, and we'll be there to help you out.
Sounds great. Darlene, thank you so much for answering all these questions. We really, really appreciate having you on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of FAQ Fanshawe Answers Questions. Next week, we will be focusing on online learning and what exactly that looks like, what kind of resources will be available to students. We'll also be talking about the student experience as well with the FSU. If you have any questions in the meantime, please send us an email to communications@fanshawec.ca. And for all issues that will be related to COVID-19, please check out our website at fanshawec.ca/COVID-19. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.